Welcome to this tutorial about how to get the most out of Facebook events. My name is Emil and I'm a digital specialist here at Volume, where I help music organizers with their online marketing efforts. Facebook events has become an important part of almost every concert promotion. But I've been surprised to see that a lot of venues are not using the full potential of the feature. Working consistently with Facebook events can really help you raise attendance and also engage your customers before the show in a meaningful manner. So in this tutorial, we're going to cover some best practices when working with Facebook events. So how to make the most out of Facebook events. So there are 4 things I want to go through in this tutorial video, and that is visual identity, creating conversations, the importance of co-hosting, and custom audiences. But let's start off by talking about visual identity. This is hugely important, both in terms of actually getting people to click the event, but also steadily growing a recognizable brand on social media. Now, many venues have physical magazines or flyers that they spend money on, but I would argue that it would be highly beneficial for these venues to also have the visual identity for Facebook events done while they're creating new flyers or magazines or working on other aspects of their visual identity. So thinking about this very specific format and getting templates done will be very beneficial for you guys. And it will help speed up the process of creating the event and it will eventually kind of build that brand for the venue. A good example of a consistent visual identity is the Danish venue Alice, which has a very simple but yet effective way of using their own brand in the visual identity of their Facebook events. You can see how they use colors and pictures of the artists, but still have this sort of consistent identity throughout their events. And having this done like once a season will help you stay consistent visually. So the next thing we'll want to do is to start creating conversations in the event. So the more people that comment on the event page, the larger reach we can create and really make this an event that people are talking about. This also creates what is known as social proof for your event. Social proof is this psychological phenomenon that assumes that people kind of copy the actions of others in an attempt to reflect the correct behavior for a given situation. So the more we can get people talking, the more we can kind of show that this is an event that people wouldn't want to miss, and thereby you shouldn't either. So on the event page, you can ask questions like, what's your favorite track from this artist? Just to get the conversation going, or you can create polls, like something like, which songs are you looking forward to on the set list? And then add some options for people to answer. If you find it hard to have something to say, you can use the tool by Google to set up mentions for the artists that are visiting you. So that is done with something called Google Alerts, which I have open here. It's in Danish here, but I think you get the point. You can type in the artist that you want to follow on the internet, and then Google Alerts will serve you articles and pages on the web mentioning this artist. So if we type in Vampire Weekend here, and we can just choose to change the language into English, we'll immediately get results with articles about Vampire Weekend. So we can go to this link, copy it, and then write a post about it in our events, saying something clever that can make the conversation going. Another way to spur conversations is, of course, also to get the artist involved in the comment section, which can be hard because we all know that artists are on a tight schedule. But having the conversation with the booking agent that this is something you would like to do can sometimes be beneficial. And maybe having this conversation early on in the booking process will make the artist more likely to actually participate in creating these conversations. The next thing I want to drive attention to is the option to co-host events. This is a really beneficial tool for music venues because it provides a way to work together with the artist and the artist's representation on selling tickets to the event. So if you want to add an artist or a booking agency to an event, there is a dedicated section for that where you create the event. Just go to the co-host tab down here when you create an event and add the pages that you want to co-host. Now this is good for a couple of reasons. First of all, it incentivizes the artist and the artist's representation to collaborate with you on the event. Maybe you can even get them to join the conversation as we talked about earlier. Secondly, it makes the event show up on the artist's profile. So if a potential artist is looking for a show near them at the artist's profile, your event will show up there. Thirdly, it creates a collected audience that you can use to advertise to later, which I'm going back to in the section about custom audiences. But one of the things that I see a lot is that the venue, the artists, and maybe even the booking agency all have different events, and that's just such a shame because you lose the social proof of having people gathered in one event, and you don't gain access to the data of your event attendees, and thereby you lose the ability to target these people later on through clever use of Facebook audiences. And in addition to this, Facebook has recently rolled out a feature called Tours, where artists can create event links consisting of every show on their tour, so they only have to share one link and does not have to post links for individual cities spamming up their newsfeed. So one artist that is doing this is John Mayer, as you can see here. This is the tour function, and as you can imagine, it would be very, very critical for a venue wanting to sell tickets to this tour to be included in this link. So that's another reason to be aware of the co-hosting features and work together with the artist. Another thing I want to draw attention to is the fact that you can create audiences from your Facebook events. And I'm going to do that in the audience section of Facebook Business Manager. And if you haven't set up a business manager for your venue yet, I would highly recommend you doing this. It's quite easy to do, and Facebook guides you through the process. Just go to business.facebook.com and follow the steps there. I'm just going to focus now on creating an audience so you can retarget Facebook users that have somehow engaged with your event. So if you go and click on custom audiences here, you'll find a possibility called Facebook events down here. Here you can select which events to create an audience from. We just select this one. And here where it says include more people, you can include more events. So if you have a lot of rock concerts, for example, you can create an audience of all the people who've interacted with your rock shows. And if you haven't checked out our tutorial about the possibilities of Facebook audiences, I would highly recommend you doing that at the Pulse website. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. Now here's a quick run through of some of the key takeaways. So first of all, create a consistent visual identity for your Facebook events. It will really help you build brand in the long run. The next one is to create conversations inside the event and set up Google Alerts for the artists that are visiting you, so you are always updated on what's going on with them and have something to talk to your attendees about. Remember to use co-hosting and collaborate with artists and booking agencies. This is hugely important due to new Facebook features. And lastly, create custom audiences from your Facebook events for targeting. That will bring the cost of your advertising down and make sure that you target the right people when you set up ads. As you can see, Facebook events holds a lot of potential that many venues are not exploring right now. So I hope that you'll try these features out. If you want to see more like this, you should visit the Pulse website, where you can find inspirational articles, videos, and information about the Pulse program.